In this movie, I'm going to talk about parent pages, formerly master pages. The first point I want to make is that when you create a new document, the settings that you use in the new document dialog determine the properties of your A parent page. Parent pages function as template pages, or you could even think of them as page styles. If you look on the Pages panel, the panel is divided into a top area where you have your parent pages, and beneath that, separated by this horizontal rule, where you have your document pages. The letter in the outside corner of the page thumbnail is your cue as to what parent page is applied to the document pages. And any change that you make on the parent page will affect all of the document pages that have that parent applied to them. The typical things that you would put on a parent page would be page numbers, but you also determine the margins and the columns. So let's add page numbers. Firstly, I'm going to come to Create Guides and one row, one column fitted to the margins. Turn on the preview and you can see that's drawn guides around my type area. That means that when I choose my type tool, I can now draw a text frame beneath my type area that goes the full width of that type area by snapping it to those guides. So I'm going to insert a page number, or rather a page number marker. So I'll come to the type menu and choose Insert Special Character, Markers, Current Page Number. That's going to put an A on my page. Do not be tempted to just type an A, because if you do, your A will be a static A and will appear as an A on all of the document pages. This code will translate to reflect the actual number of the page. I'll style it however I want to style it. Let's make it a little bit bigger maybe, just so that we can see it more easily. And totally stylistic preference at this point, but I'm also going to set the alignment so that it aligns away from spine. That's not going to change the appearance on the left-hand page, but when I duplicate that, holding down Option or Alt and Shift, dragging that text frame over to the right-hand page, you'll see the page number moves over to the right-hand edge. So now when we look on all of the document pages, we see the page number. So now I'm going to come back to the parent page. Another point I want to make is that you can change your margins and columns. So I'm going to change my top margin in this case. Let's go for a much larger top margin, and I will check Adjust Layout. And now if we look at the document pages, we see they have been affected by that change. Let me point out that parent page items appear with a dotted line around them. You will not be able to select them. They are by default locked. If you need to select them to edit them, you can hold down Command and Shift or Control and Shift, click, that will unlock them. You can then delete them if necessary or change them however you want. If you have multiple items that you want to unlock, that will be this option right here, Override all parent page items. I'm now going to come back to the parent page. In this particular example, if I click within the type area, we see that I am using a primary text frame. Primary text frame, it's this option when you start the document. And this is what the icon for a primary text frame looks like. That means that if I change the number of columns here, let's say we go to 2 columns and we go to the document pages, we see the column guides, but the flow of our text has not changed. If I want to change the flow of the text, then I need to select those primary text frames that are on the master page or parent page and use my column divider or come to my text frame options and specify that I want to have 2. So now when we go to the document pages, we see that they have changed. You can have multiple master pages in a document. So let's say that I want a second master page. A typical approach is to base one on your original parent. So that's what I'll do here. I'll right click and choose New Parent, and I'll just go with the B suffix, but I'll make sure that I choose based on A. It's going to have 2 pages, i.e. it's going to have a left-hand page and a right-hand page because I am working with a facing pages spread. And then when I get to this page, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide that into 3 columns. And let me just also point out one thing. When you're working on a parent page spread, to select both of the pages of the spread, double click on the name rather than double click on the page thumbnail, because that will select the left or right and not both. And usually you want both to be affected. I will also select the primary text frames, and we will divide those into 3 as well. So now we have a B parent page, and you can see that in the outside edges of the B parent, it is based on the A parent page. It's not yet applied to any of the document pages. To apply a parent page to a document page, in this case I have the spread selected, I'll come and hold down the Option or Alt key and just click on the parent page name. Alternatively, let's say I just want to apply it to a single page. I can just come and get the left-hand thumbnail and drag that down onto page 8. And we see that that page now has 3 columns. So remember, we created B based upon A. And as we've seen, we have this relationship of parent-child. It works with styles in much the same way. If I return to the A parent and I decide that I would like my page numbers to be centered rather than to the outside margin, I'll select those 2 text frames, Command-Shift-C or Control-Shift-C, to center the page numbers, and we now see that we have centered page numbers on both the A and B parent pages. So that's a quick overview of parent pages. Just one final word of advice here. I think you only need a few. No matter how complex your document, you should only have a few parent pages, and you can make a single parent page do multiple duty. For example, if you divide your A parent into 12 columns, that will work for a 2-column, 3-column, 4-column, 6-column layout, because 2, 3, 4, 6 all divide into 12. So don't use more than you need.